you know, I do kind of have a hard time taking it serious. I do think like the Munchie thing is kind of the more mind-blowing exit, just because
that one is less understandable for me.
It's hard to fathom that right there. Because
I understand his thought process though. I think he's gotten tired of the plays and he's not really sure where they're coming from. He's not being informed of the plays that he feels are being ran.
But he wasn't really around for
I think
plays, right?
Not too many, but I think just like, you know, Spody crashed in the pod, which obviously there's no issue with that. But he's just like, he's a blind guy who's being, you know, bombarded with people crashing pods. And I feel like that's making him feel some type of way.
Do you think it was more of him being pissed off at plays and stuff, or the fact that he thinks that Flacco called the boys on him?
I think that's like a play sort of type of thing.
I don't think Flacco.
I don't think he would have done that.
I don't think so either, but he did say that.
Saying it like
it's weird to me that he believes that,
because there was police outside that day. That's why I think.
Yeah, but I don't like. Did Flacco even say that?
Flacco said it.
Flacco said it much later, though, right?
He said it in a video. He said that's how I play ball. He said that's how I give it up.
Flacco is a psychopath.
Because that's what I want to know. I want to know how Adam feels about a Nojumper affiliate going full Charleston White and saying I called the police on that.
I think to me, it's pretty obvious that Flacco's trolling when he says that. So to me, it's kind of like the more astonishing thing is just that Munchie fell for that. But I mean, in general, like, listen, we had asked Munchie multiple times not to have that shit on him when he's on the podcast. You know, it's not that hard to like give it to somebody else or leave it in the car or whatever, right? So the fact that Vel captured it, it's like, yeah, I don't really have any sympathy for you, because we had asked you multiple times, hey, a strapped up blind man on the podcast is obviously an insane look.
It's like, so fire though.
It's okay.
No pun intended. No pun intended.
But it's
ready
like,
for anything.
We asked him multiple times, like, bro, it looks crazy. Like, it was bad enough when you had Brick Baby and you saw it on him a couple times, and we had the same conversation with Brick Baby of like, listen, I'm not going to search you every time you come in here, but if you do feel the need to move around like that, just please do not have it visible, right? And like the fact that Munchie felt the need to do that again, and I didn't see it. I wouldn't have known about it if it wasn't for Vel's little fucking Meta Glasses clip. But ultimately, it's like, I mean, how, like, I don't know. It's just, it's we don't want this to seem like this super unprofessional environment, and we already feel like we've kind of are like turning a corner after the great Nojumper beating that took place like a year and a half ago. And so, I mean, to me personally, as a business owner, I was offended and upset when I realized that he had that on him. So the fact that he quit because of the fact that it was somehow exposed, and you know, granted, you showed up to be on camera for 5 hours on the podcast, and you apparently thought that it was like, you know, not going to be exposed, which it wouldn't have been, I guess, if it wasn't for
because it was on his kind of like opposite camera
it was
side.
On his
so
right, and
I'm sure he felt like, why would anybody be filming me from the other side when the cameras are over here?
Yeah, and I feel bad about having to expose the fact that this is what it's about. But I mean, his clip already exposed it, so it's like I'm not going to just sit here and lie. But yeah, I mean, like the fact that he quit because he was exposed for having something on him that we already asked him repeatedly not to have was kind of mind-blowing. And that's one where it's like, well, there's really no way that you could make this my fault, right? And somehow like some percentage of the audience and maybe him or actually treating it like it's my fucking fault, which is, that really proves to me like, oh, no matter what happens, they're going to make it my fault, no matter what. Because I don't want to go super long about this, but that's the one thing that pisses me off is like, I felt like I went so hard to protect Munchie on the podcast in terms of like arguing with Wack about him. And, you know, I obviously pissed off, like there's a bunch of people who, if, you know, we're not going to go to the Nojumper live show because of the fact that Munchie was on there. And I kind of went against people that I've had friendships with forever in order to be able to fuck with Munchie because I thought that he was a good podcaster. And then he quit because he brought whatever on the podcast and somebody exposed it. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. I guess I am just kind of like offended that he would quit over something that was so stupid and also so obviously his fault. Like, I think it would have been much more understandable if I said, like, listen, if this had ended with me saying, hey, we can't have you on the podcast anymore because of the fact that you keep breaking this one rule that we put on you that we feel like makes us look really unprofessional. But instead, he was so offended by the fact that somebody captured him on camera breaking the rule that he felt like that was a reason to quit, which is I'm still kind of flabbergasted by that.
Okay, wait. Can I interject right here because we're talking about
your back is to the camera, so
shit.
you cannot do that.
This way.
No, just kind of open up and then look at us. Yeah.
And think about what the camera is seeing.
Okay,
There,
so
much better.
Perfect.
So what do you say about them making the assertion of they want to leave Nojumper because it's starting to feel like the streets? And you're talking about these rules that you've instituted up here that are great, but it seems like sometimes you're picking and choosing with the rules where it's like you want Nojumper to be this safe professional space, but you're allowing the Crips to get up and catch a friendly in the middle of the podcast, where it seems like sometimes the rules are
But
being
what
bended.
could I have done to stop that?
Just flat out like not at my place of business, like yo,
Or you're both fired.
That's what I said. I said,
Like,
you
Pete,
don't do it. Don't
come
do it
back.
here, and don't do it in the parking lot. I said, if you're gonna do it, you can't.
or
you can't
just
do it
like
here.
in general, if you're gonna do that, because I feel like it doesn't help your podcast, right? And it's like you're talking about this rule with Munchie, but we also have like a zero tolerance to violence rule that seems like a little bendy, and like them saying this is starting to feel like a street environment. So maybe I feel like I gotta have it on me.
But the dynamic with Ant was the same. J Hood is the X factor because we had the Tuesday show with 3 different gang members from 3 different hoods. It's only when Ant Hefe left and got replaced by J Hood that it became an issue, which I guess in retrospect, maybe I should have like known that having. Well, I don't know. It's like, how would I have known that J Hood would have been such a contentious figure to them?
I don't think you could have known that.
That's why
In
I think
retrospect, okay, the whack thing, but like, dude, I wasn't thinking about the fact that that J Hood was basically like subservient to whack because of his dad. You know, like that didn't cross my mind. It was only like once Spodyface and him start getting into the argument that I realized like, oh, this is going to be an issue. But basically, like immediately after that, Spody and Munchie both announced their departure, you know? So
Do you think these are like in stone quittings, or do you think that there's wiggle room for these guys to come back?
I mean, I'm going out of my way to not say things that are going to make it in stone. But that being said, I'm also like, I'm offended that both of them felt like this was a good enough reason to leave when I feel like I had already like put a lot into both of these people to try to like develop them as podcasters and everything. And also, my confidence and my ability to rebuild is extremely high. And one thing, this is one thing I feel like people think that the Nojumper channel lives and dies by the Tuesday show. Let's look at it like this. Right now, Nojumper 20 million views in the last 30 days. The Tuesday show, 100,000 views per episode approximately, right? So that's 400,000 views per month. If we round up with the clips and everything, maybe it's like 1 million views come from the Tuesday show every month. That's 5% of the total that we did in the last 30 days. So I like the Tuesday show. It's one of the most fun experiences for me every week to have that podcast. But we are talking about like 5% of the total views that we bring in every week. And with how much bullshit it causes me to fucking deal with, it does kind of make me look at like Vlad's business model where he just 100% focuses on interviews. And it does kind of make me feel like maybe it's just not worth it to have a bunch of gang members on the podcast together, because so much bullshit and so much negative PR that comes from it comes to the channel is basically from that dynamic. And meanwhile, it constitutes like a very small percentage of the revenue that the channel brings in. That being said, I don't know. I mean, it really makes me like want to have hosts on the channel who are a little less tender or a little bit more confident in who they are. Because when I look at this situation, it's like I brought in a new host who seemed to intimidate a couple of the hosts, and that just kind of blew it up.
Just
So
went to shit.
I don't really fucking know. I honestly haven't lost a lot of sleep over this one. It's not really been something I've been thinking about that much, largely because I had to deal with this whole fake divorce narrative last week. But I'm not really.
But also, Munchie and Spody aren't going the Figmunity route. They're not super smutting Nojumper
That's a
saying
good
fuck
thing.
it, Adam. They're running the content, but even when I checked out the content, it's not like, you know, the White Devil narrative.
I'm going to be honest with you. I have not watched a single moment of Spody or Munchie's content since they left. So